Hello, everybody. Good to see you. This is Pastor Xavier in God's Grace and Covenant. This evening, we'll be talking about will the rapture, will the people that are raptured, that are taken, be saved, and will the left behind be damned? And I know that y'all have heard this before, that a lot of people believe that the the group that is taken is protected, and the group that is left behind has a problem coming. There have even been movies made about this, and I want to talk about this tonight from the scriptures and read some of the scriptures to you. Now, it can be a little confusing when you just look at the stuff in the King James, but it's not as confusing as you think. It's the problem is that the people that have been speaking this to you are wolves in sheep's clothing. That's the problem. You're listening to the wrong person tell you something, and these are people that have been doing damnable things to everybody, and not actually people that have your best interests at heart. Now, here's the thing. I don't want you to think that only brown skinned people are going to be saved in the end. There's going to be plenty of white people and Asian people that are going to be saved too. There's no doubt about that. It's very clear, and we're going to read this in the scriptures. Now, the interesting thing is that we need to look at a few scriptures first. And tonight we're going to come out of James chapter 1, verse 12. We're going to come out of Ephesians chapter 6, 11 through 13. We're going to come through. Now, let me explain this. With James, we're going to talk about blessed is the man that endures temptation. The reason we want to talk about that is because the people that say that the taken are saved, they say that they're taken so they don't have to endure the temptation. They don't have to go through any of the trouble that's going to be going on. They won't go through any of the tribulation that's happening. So the scriptures clearly say something different than what they're selling. In the book of Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11 through 13, that's talking about putting on the whole armor. Now, you're going to need that armor because you're going to be sticking around. You're going to be here. Some of you are going to be here going through the tribulation. The ones that are left behind, they're going to need armor since they are left behind. That's the key. You can't be in a war zone and have no armor on. You can't be even police officers right now, they wear their bulletproof vests all day because they have no idea when a firefight might come up, when a person may have a gun and start shooting, when a person has a knife and wants to stab you or something like that. You have no idea when the trouble is coming. So you must be prepared at all times and have your armor on. Now, the armor that the scriptures are talking about is a spiritual armor. So, but we'll get into that too. Now, Psalms 91, we're also going to come out of, because while you're going through the tribulation, all kinds of things are going to be happening. And one of the main verses in the Psalms 91 is that 1,000 shall fall by one side and 10,000 may fall by the right side, but none of it will come near you. So you'll be in the middle of a war zone of tribulation, and you will be tempted to want to go to be with these other people that are in power, but you better stay with God is who you better stay with. That's who you better stay with, because he'll protect you and keep you under his eagle's wings, like he's going to show. In Matthew chapter 7, verse 13 through 27, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite verses, which is narrow is the way and few shall find it. Narrow is the way to what? Narrow is the way to life, that leads to life. Whereas a lot of these people today, The way that leads to life is the big broad road, which is a lot of Christianity, Islam, and a lot of other things. But narrow is the way, which is the Hebrew way, which all of the four prophets and ancestors, the children of the slaves, were all Hebrew. So that's the narrow way. How many people do you know that's a Hebrew? Not many, but narrow is that way. Then we're going to go to John 15, verse 6 through 10. If they persecuted me, they will persecute you. That's Messiah talking. You will not escape the persecution. If the Messiah himself was not raptured out without any problem, was taken away before any tribulation could happen to him, and we all know what happened to him. Not only was he persecuted, but he was killed. And then we're going to go to John 16, verse 1 through 3. They shall put you out of the churches, and some of you they'll kill. And we know that they killed the Messiah, and they killed almost all the apostles later. They got killed too. I was watching a show the other day about why did that Pope that retired, I think it was Pope Benedict, why did he retire from being the Pope? And it was a big to-do. And they were saying that the first Pope is Peter. Really? Is that right? As far as I know, they killed Peter. That's the history. How was he your Pope leading anything? And your people, killed him just like y'all did any other nigga. And I'm saying it like that to make it plain. Because all of us that was niggas, y'all killed. And y'all do that to this day. Now, am I holding you killing us personal to you? No, I'm not really. I have no grudge toward you because I understand through the scriptures what the deal is. And that's the thing. You ever watch the TV show G.I. Joe and he'll say no one is half the battle? Well, no one is half the battle. Slavery didn't even come from white people. They just took it to another level. Slavery actually came from our people. And our people had white people enslaved. Look up the history. Matter of fact, the beginning of the United States Marines, if y'all look up the history and listen to the anthem of the Marine Corps, it'll tell you in the anthem what their history is. From the walls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. Now, Tripoli is over there in Africa, and they used to kidnap and pirate the American ships, the English ships, the French ships, and we would pirate them, take them, and sell those white people into slavery. And they made the Marine Corps in the United States because they were tired of the ships getting taken. And they said, we're going to make a group that can sail and go on land. So to this day, United States Marines ride on Navy vessels, but then they are offloaded at the shores and beaches of these countries. And then they go do their business, and then they get back on the boat. So their whole purpose in being founded was to put an end to the piracy and kidnapping of the American citizens, white ones, at sea and being sold off into slavery, and some of them being sold back as long as you paid the ransom. So that's where it became from. So don't think that when I'm talking about this stuff that I'm like, down with the white man and all that kind of thing. I mean, I can't say that I'm too happy with him, but I can't say that I'm too happy with my own. Now, but I know the history is the point, and we're just being truthful here, talking about history. We're not being jerks, talking about who's to blame and who's this and who's that, because our people have just as much to blame as them for the foolishness that's going on today. But here's the funny thing. Everything that the white people know and all of the stuff that they do, we taught them. We taught them the good and we taught them the bad. We taught them the government stuff. We taught them the slavery stuff. It's just they took it to a different level. That's it. So I can't browbeat them too much because they're just doing what we showed them to do. Now, where did we get it from? We got it from the fallen angels that came here and rebelled against God. So that's really the evolution of slavery. And you need to know that, so you quit just blaming one person for stuff and understand, because we're also going to see in the scriptures where in the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, not only do you put on the whole armor, but you find out who the enemy is. And the enemy is the spiritual wickedness in high places. It's not necessarily the people. So you don't really want to just think, the white man is terrible, blah, blah, blah. And he is terrible a lot of the time. But don't forget, our people are terrible a lot of the time. We all are ridiculous a lot of the time. If you went to Mexico, it's the cartels. The Mexican cartels are doing stuff to their own people, slaughtering them. The Mexican government is being unfair to their own people. On one end, they take the money from the cartel, and on the other end, they persecuting their own people. I mean, all of this back and forth, but it's their people persecuting their people. White people in this country persecute white people. You want to know how I know? All you need to do is go to those hills over in South Carolina and North Carolina. Go up in them hills and look at them white people that's up there living outside and see how they being treated and mistreated. It's terrible the way that they are being treated. Terrible. You've never seen you think it's bad in the projects? You've never seen poverty until you see a poor white man in the woods and a Native American, the ones that we call Indians, living on them reservations. And to this day, reservations are still in existence. We still have in this country a group of people that's basically put off into a prison concentration camp. Now, you say it's not a concentration camp because it doesn't have soldiers guarding the border. I say it is a concentration camp. It just don't need no guards. They got their minds now. They know they need to stay there on the reservation, because if they come off of the reservation, they lose their status and they have to start paying taxes and all of that. So it's like, stay over here and be poor and impoverished, or come out, and then you'll have to get into our system and you'll be just like them niggas that we freed from slavery, and you'll be on your own and have to try to figure things out. Either way is terrible. One thing I can say about them, they did get their 40 acres. They ain't get no mule, but they did get 40 acres as in a reservation place to be at. But they didn't do that with us. But anyway, I don't want to. This study ain't about that, so I'm gonna keep moving. Then we're gonna go to Matthew chapter 7. We're gonna talk about narrow is the road, and then we're going to go to John chapter 15, verse 6 through 10. If they persecuted me, they'll persecute you. And then John 16, verse 1 through 3. They shall put some of you out of the synagogues and churches, and some of you they'll kill. And we both know that they killed so many of our people and so many of the apostles, and they killed the Messiah. Then they turn around and want to wear crosses and have churches and pray and all of that, and try to look like they love people, and they want to sing some nice songs, and they ain't nothing but the devil. They ain't nothing but children of the devil. Then we're going to go to Matthew 13, verse 24 through 30. And that's going to talk about letting them grow together. And now that part's going to start getting into this confusing issue of rapture, resurrection, and all that kind of thing. And then we're going to go to Matthew 24, verse 37 through 51. And that's going to talk about some more of that, where the two are in the field and one is taken. And then we're going to go into Revelation chapter 7. We're going to go through that whole thing. And we're going to hit on, these are they which came out of great tribulation. Because when John is being showed all of these things by the angel that's talking to him, the angel asks him a question. Do you know who these people are that have come? And John says, no, but you can tell me. And he says, these are the ones that came out of great tribulation. So the ones that were so-called left behind, were going through this tribulation. They are the ones that are given the robes in the end. They are the ones that are given the crowns. They are the ones that serve in the kingdom. They are the ones that are protected. Because if you keep going, it says that he that sat on the throne shall dwell among them. The ones that came out of the tribulation, not the ones that were taken. You got it confused. Now, to Esdras, which is in the Apocrypha, chapter 13, they that were not left were in heaviness. That's the key verse in that. The ones that were not left were in heaviness. So the ones that were taken had the problem. They that are left behind are more blessed than they that be dead. So the blessed ones are the ones that were left behind. This is the key. Now, some of y'all never heard of two Esdras. I want y'all to pay attention, and I want y'all to pause the video and pull up on your phone or computer 2 Esdras 13, and it'll give you a Bible Gateway has a version of it that you can read. And there's even some people on YouTube that read it to you, so you can hear it all yourself. And then you're going to know the truth of that scripture. There's a reason that some of these books that are called apocryphal books were taken out of the mainstream King James version of the Bible. And it's because it has too many explanations and fills in too many dots that will refer to my people as the chosen people. And it will refer to the truth of all of the gaps that you've had in the King James scriptures. And it would explain things about the rapture and about the left behind and about the taken. And it would explain about the situations that were going on with Adam and Eve. It will tell you who did Cain have children with. All of that stuff is in the apocryphal books. There's an apocryphal book called Adam and Eve, book 1 and book 2. It explains all that detail. And also there's the book of Jubilees. It starts talking about stuff not only from the time on earth, but from the time in heaven with the angels. Things started up there and then go down to earth. Oh man, I mean, it's just wonderful stuff. The book of Jubilees is wonderful. It even explains where the Sabbath day came from and why it's so important and why you should do it and why the Sabbath day being on a Saturday, what we call Saturday, God just referred to it as a number, as the seventh day, the last day. Why that's the most important day and not Sunday. But this is not a discussion for that. I just want to tell you how pleased I am with knowing about these apocryphal books. But now we're going to get on with our study. And the first thing we're going to do is go to James chapter 1, verse 12. All right. Blessed is the man that endures temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord has promised to them that love him. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God, for God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. And when lust has conceived, it brings forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, brings forth death. So you want to try to behave yourself when you are tempted so you don't bring forth death. For instance, if you're running around and you're tempted with some fast, loose woman, if you're a man, you might catch a disease. If you're a woman and you're tempted with some fast, loose man, uh, he may kidnap you. He may kill you. He may sell you off. That kind of thing is still done today. And you have to be careful. If you do what's right, because you're going through this life, there's going to be temptations. Remember, the Messiah said there's always going to be some tribulations. There's always going to be some trials and tribulations. There's just no getting around that. The test is going to be there. I've told my daughters that, and my son Aaron, that in this life, one thing for sure that you're not going to get out of, well, a couple of things you're not going to get out of. You ain't going to get out of paying taxes. You're going to have to file your taxes and take care of that. You're not going to get out of child support if you have that. You're not going to get out of not having a driver's license for the most part. And you're not going to get out of not taking tests for your job. Every job you get, it's got some kind of test or certification or recertification. If you're a teacher, you recertify. If you're a nurse, you recertify. If you're a doctor, you recertify. If you're an inspector, you recertify. If you're a dentist, you recertify. I mean, you just keep going through all the jobs. It's always some kind of test or certification that you have to go back through. Police officers have to take certain classes and certifications over. Firefighters, same thing. I mean, you think just because you got the job that you're done taking tests and there's no more school type situation where you got to sit at a desk and take a test? You are mistaken. The tests never stop until you retire. So that's it. I mean, it is what it is. So temptation, tribulation, and trials are just like those certifications. They never stop. You're never done. Now, when will we be done? Technically, you can be done with certifications when you retire. Technically, you could be done with the testing and the tribulation and the trial when you go through either the first death or the second death and are resurrected to the Father and he takes you to the kingdom. Then it's done. Then you good. No more testing at that point. But in this life, it's always going to be there. And here's the thing. If you're going through all of these tests, don't think that study is not required. Every test is going to have a book that you can study to prepare for the test. In our case, it's the scriptures. And then for those that don't have that book, the Spirit will come to you and teach you. Remember, the Messiah said when he was leaving, the Spirit will come and teach you all things and catch you up. Whatever was missed or what have you, you're going to get it from the Spirit. The Spirit going to take care of everything and bring everything to your remembrance. So whatever I taught you is going to bring it to remembrance. Whatever you done forgot, going to bring it to remembrance. Whatever you don't know, going to teach you. But you're going to need to put on that armor. And that armor is going to help you to remember things because each part of that armor is for something. So let's go to James chapter 16 and see what is the armor for. Because, people like talking all of this nice, sweet talk, but they don't like explaining anything. Well, I'm going to explain it to you. So James chapter 6, verse 11. Put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. That's what the purpose of the armor is for. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. See, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, white man. He trifling. Oh, he's terrible. He's mean as a 6-shooter, I tell you. But that ain't who we fight. And the other people of my own people is ridiculous. And especially since I'm from Chicago, and them niggas in Chicago is something else. But that's not who we fight neither. And then you go across the border and deal with the Sinaloa cartel or MS-13 or whoever. But that's not who we're fighting either. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, rulers of darkness of this world. There are rulers of darkness of this world. It's a hierarchy that we're dealing with that are telling these little ones at the bottom what to do. That's who the real enemy is. Against spiritual wickedness in high places, because this fight is really a fight against God. Those same fallen angels are still trying to pull these shenanigans, and I'll do another study on why did the fallen angels, why does Lucifer and the Satanel and Samael and all of these guys that are fallen angels, why are they so angry with us? Why do they continue this eternal battle fighting with God's creation? Why does he hate Adam and Eve so much? Why does it never stop? And then why does he persecute this color so much? Of all of the people on the planet, why are we persecuted the most? I'll have to do another study on that. I'll try to do that for next time if I can remember. But then, wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. The evil day. What's the evil day? That's judgment day. That's that tribulation that's coming that a lot of these folks keep telling you that you're going to be raptured out of and not have to see none of it. Let me tell you something. Those of you that are taken and raptured, do you know where you're going to be taken to? That's when God is going to kill you. You are going to the beginning of your eternal punishment for those of you that are taken at that time. At the time that the tribulation is actually in effect and the Messiah returns, when that flying nigga and all of them, 140,000 other niggas come with him, he coming to put his foot down on a lot of people's back. And if he get hold of you and take you, you're going the wrong direction. You're not taking the elevator up, baby. You taking the elevator down to hell. The taken are going to hell. The ones that are left behind will be watched over by the Messiah. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show it to you in the scriptures. And that's why I read all of this and put this stuff in the details, because I don't want y'all to forget it. I want you to look at it for yourself, because most of y'all pastors been lying to you. The white pastor's been lying to you. The brown-skinned pastor's been lying to you. The Baptist pastor been lying to you. The Presbyterian pastor been lying. The Catholic priest been lying. They've been lying. Ain't gonna be no rapture making you feel good. It's gonna be a rapture now, but it's gonna be to beat your ass. That's the problem. It ain't gonna be cool. It's gonna be trouble. If you're raptured, you're in trouble. If you're left behind, you're good to go. Sorry to tell you, y'all done mixed it up. But what did the Messiah say? There's a time that the people will take what's evil and make it good, and what's good and make it evil. They'll flip-flop stuff. And they flip-flopping stuff on you and not allowing you have gotten lazy and don't want to read the scriptures for yourself. And so you just trust what they say. But you're trusting wolves in sheep's clothing. And on the inside, they're raven and wolves. You better read these scriptures. And the broad road that is Christianity, which is the biggest faith, the biggest religion on the planet right now. And I think number 2 is Islam. Those faiths are going to lead you right to hell. I'm just keeping it real. Now, my dad was Islam, and I used to be Christian. I was a Baptist preacher. I was ordained in the Baptist church. I was baptized in the Baptist church. I've done weddings in the Baptist church, all of that. But I learned the truth, and I'm Hebrew, which is what the scriptures totally tell us we're supposed to be. Read it if you really care. But some people don't want the truth. They just want to live in the lie. And if you want to live in a lie, that's no skin off my back. It ain't gonna bother me none. But I'm gonna tell you something. When your ass is raptured, you're gonna wish you changed your mind. Now, let's get to the next one, because I want to read what the armor is for. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth. So around your loins, you want the armor of truth. Now, your loins is your midsection. And when it says girt, it's the same place that you would put a girdle. And a girdle usually goes around your abdomen down to your hips area, right? So around that section, you're going to want truth. Now, most of y'all don't want no truth. Most of y'all love lies. That's your problem. And then it says, and having on the blessed plate of righteousness. So on your chest, you're going to want righteousness there. You're going to want the ability to do right. Most of y'all don't want to do right. Most of y'all want to do wrong. Most of y'all want to have right done to you, but you don't want to do right to nobody else because it will cost you. Doing right to somebody else will usually cost you something. And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. On your feet, you should have as armor the preparation of the gospel of peace. Preparation, study. That's the study again. You can't get through this life without studying something. You study how to cook, you study how to drive, you study how to do your job. You know, a doctor have to study for a long time. Dentists have to study for a long time. And in this case, you're going to want to have the preparation or study of peace, the gospel of peace, because there's a lot of gospels out there, but some of them lead to war. A lot of these people are just interested in killing, tearing up stuff, having power, ruling over folk. They're not interested in peace. Why do you think we in these wars so long, so many years? War on terror been what, over 20 years now? Still ain't done? Because they're not interested in peace. This thing going on over in, what's the place? Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine over there getting their ass whooped and should have been actually advocating for peace. But the nations that support them and back them have not told them to go ahead and do the peace. They can't even get out of the war on their own because they're being run by somebody else as a proxy. And these are grown people and countries, and they white. Oh, white people get screwed just like we do. Them Ukrainians, you know what they are right now? A bunch of white niggas is what they is. Being run by the West and told what to do and can't make a damn decision for themselves. Now, I can't be so mad at them because my people in this country can't hardly make a decision for themselves. Now, that's just facts. But anyway, let's go to the next one. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith you shall be able to quench all fiery darts of the wicked. You need that. Above all, you need that. Y'all see that? Above all, you need that shield of faith. Because with that shield, when them things is coming in, you'll be able to block them. And why do you need a shield? Because like I say, if you left behind and them bombs is coming and them bullets is coming, you're going to need some kind of armor, some kind of protection to block stuff. Because like I say, the ones that's taken, they don't need anything because they gone. But the ones that left behind, they're going to need to be able to deal with stuff trying to penetrate you. And that spirit of faith, you're going to have the right faith because your identity is going to be checked. Your faith is going to be checked. And if you just running around with a faith of Santa Claus and Christmas and a faith of Easter, yeah, go out there with the faith of Easter when tribulation comes and tell me how that worked for you. Go out there with chocolate rabbits and Easter eggs and tell me how that worked. Go out there with some gifts and leave some hot cocoa and some cookies for whoever come for the tribulation. Yeah, see if that'll appease them. Try it. Try it. And for your New Year's stuff, go ahead and get your little ham and corned beef together and some greens and some black eyed peas, because that's the typical dish for that holiday, and set that out there and see if them angels will sit down and eat and leave you alone. See if it'll work. Go out there with the spirit of Halloween, with the faith of Halloween. Put on a Freddy Krueger mask and see if you'll scare them angels that coming, them flying niggas that's going to be coming out of the east. See if that'll make them leave you alone on that day of tribulation. See if it'll work. Try it, because those are your gods. Those are your gods. Take out Valentine's Day and give them a sweetheart. Give them a nice teddy bear or something like that. Give them some flowers. That's what y'all do for Valentine's Day. That's how y'all worship y'all God. Do it and see if it worked on the day of tribulation. No, it's not going to work. You're going to need the shield of faith. That is the faith of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's the faith you're going to need. That faith. So if you're not doing what Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was doing, then you're screwed. There you go. Now, continuing. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. The helmet of salvation. You need to put that helmet of salvation on, because your mind need to be right and your eyes need to be protected. And your nose, what you smelling and tasting and talking and hearing, needs to be protected. But what are you tasting? You're tasting the food of the holidays and eating the swine and eating the shrimp and the crab and all the things that God tell you not to do. That's what you do. And then you smelling all of that stuff. And God says when he smells it, it's flared up in his nostrils. If he came in your house and smelled you up in there cooking chitlins and up in there cooking ham, pork chops and crab bowl and boil and big thing of ham. Oh, his nose flare up. And in Isaiah 60, was it 65 or 66? He say that I'll get you back there hiding behind the tree, eating swine's flesh. I'm going to burn you up. And on the day of tribulation, it's going to be the day of fire. Remember, when he come back this next time, he's not going to destroy the place with water. He's going to destroy it with fire. He's going to be putting people in the fire. And we're going to be talking about that, because some of the scriptures that we're going to talk about is going to talk about separating the wheat from the chaff and putting that chaff in the fire, baby. Don't you be one. Don't you be taken and put in the fire. And you need the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. So you need to be able to get through that word and chop it up proper. Because right now you ain't even chopping it at all. Half y'all don't know how to hold a sword. Y'all don't know how to hold a knife in the kitchen. You can't cook to save your life. Most of y'all will cut your finger when you're trying to cut a chicken. Most of y'all don't know how to cut a chicken up these days. You'd rather have it all chopped up already. And that's fine to have it chopped up already. But if you ever need to do things manually, you don't know what you're doing. Some of y'all can't even clip your toenails without cutting yourself. Praying always with all power, all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. That's what you need that armor for. So you'll be able to get through when all of this stuff is going on, and you'll have your armor on. You'll be a soldier that's prepared. A soldier can't go out there butt naked. A soldier has to have equipment to be able to go into the battlefield. You can't go in there and you ain't dressed up. You can't go outside without having clothes on. In the wintertime in Chicago, you'll die. So you have to be prepared. You can't be swimming in the deep water in the ocean and don't have on a suit, don't have on flippers so you can get away with quickness and stuff like that. You need to have equipment for the job that you're trying to do. Now let's go on. We're going to go to Psalm 91. Let's see here. That's the one that I forgot to put in here ahead of time. Oh, and Psalm 91 is a good one. Now, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him will I trust. Surely he will deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. Because on the day of this tribulation, when stuff is going down, the fowler is going to be all kind of planes in the sky and missiles in the sky and bullets flying around. All of this stuff going to be in the air. And then you're going to have the noisome pestilence. It's going to be so noisy out there. You're going to be hearing all this stuff. It's going to sound like an episode of Star Wars. And explosions and all. It's going to be like Die Hard or Platoon or, some Vietnam movie. The sound alone going to scare you to death. Ask the veterans. It's not just getting shot that makes you freak out. It's not just the darkness in the woods that makes you freak out in a battlefield. It's not just the thoughts of knowing what's going on that makes you freak out. It's also the sound and the smell. You smell the gunpowder. You smell the cannon fire. You smell the blood. You smell this stuff smells. You smell the burning. You hear the noise. You don't see it. You close your eyes and you don't see nothing, but you just heard your friend to the left just got picked off and you heard the bullet whiz by your ear. And you feel the heat of the explosion behind you. And then you, from the front, you feel the concussion blast of the shot and it knocked you back. You ain't even touched, but the sounds and the feelings and the effects are doing something to you. And that's because you're left behind. So when you're left behind, you're going to need protection out there. You're going to need the armor, all of it, armor for your feet, armor for your head, the shield, the breastplate, the loin. You're going to need all of it. Because you don't want to have the armor up here and then your foot gets shot. You don't want to not have a shield on. You don't want to forget your helmet, do you? I ain't seen a soldier yet that they don't keep that helmet on. I tell you what, it's real clunky when it's hot outside. But when them bullets get to flying, oh, they tighten that sucker up onto that chin. Oh, it's just tightened up. And they make sure that bulletproof is on there, baby. They make sure that their stuff is pulled down and nice and working properly. They making sure that weapon that they got can do what it's supposed to do. If they never cleaned it, they cleaning it now. They ain't playing. So you got to have all of this stuff at that time. Now, what else he say here? He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. His truth is going to be your shield on that day. And your buckler to keep, what's your buckler? To keep your pants up and keep your shirt down and stay tucked in and be ready. That's what that is. That's what that is. You can't go out there with your pants down like these hoodlum niggas with their pants falling off their ass. You can't be like that. You running around with your pants down on tribulation time, you getting took in more ways than one. That stuff ought to be illegal. You know, these white folks making all these laws, they ought to make a law about these niggas with their pants down. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that's another thing. And then, thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that fly by day. Because in the daytime, they're going to be shooting because they can see. And most of the time at nighttime, you only do special operations in the military. I remember when I was in the Army, you will do operations at night, but for the most part, you do them in the daytime because humans like to be able to see in plain light. And so at nighttime, you just have a little sneaky stuff going on, and it's not a lot. But at nighttime, you'll be not having to worry about the terror by night. And why would you worry about terror by night? Because it's dark outside and you can't see. That's why. You'll be hearing stuff and all that kind of thing and you can't see it. So typically a human feel better with stuff in the daytime. But he say that he gonna protect you and you're not gonna be afraid. Why aren't you gonna be afraid when all this stuff is going on? Because if you are with God, and if you are following the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and all of them was Hebrew niggas, is what they was. If you following their God, after a couple of days, you're going to learn that he got you. You're always going to start off with fear with everything. You're human. But after a while, that fear going to go away because you're going to be able to stand on the fact that God has proven and showed you that he got you, baby. He got you. You'll see. Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. What destruction wasting at noonday? That's when them nuclear and them explosions is happening and it's wasting whole blocks. It's that stuff that we see going on in Israel right now. Whole buildings coming down in one shot. We see it in the Ukraine too. When the Ukraine war first started, Russia was sending them missiles over there and taking out whole buildings was falling down. And I remember the same thing happened with Bush Jr. when he was doing what he called shock and awe. And he sent them rockets over there and let them put it on the TV, and they were blowing the hell out of Iraq. And I guess it was Baghdad was where they was hitting it the most, where Saddam Hussein was. And they was just blowing, boom, bam, boom, just blowing up all over the place. And it was at nighttime, so you could see all of the explosions. Look it up on the YouTube. It'll come up. And the Iraqis was shooting back, and they were shooting up in the air and couldn't even see what they were shooting at. Couldn't even see. But boy, America was dropping them bombs and they was putting it on their ass. That's what they was doing. And this is what this scriptures is talking about. Now, if you're in a situation like that, only God could get you out of that. Only God himself can get you out of that. Only God. So then it says here, 1,000. This is the key verse. Verse 7. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh unto thee. Oh my goodness. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Ooh, I need y'all to memorize them two verses. This is Psalm 91, verse 7 and verse 8. Because on the day of tribulation, when the judgment day is here, if you are safe and you are left behind and you following the Hebrew faith and following the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you go over it, you look to this side, 1,000 and fail. Because why I say that? because them missiles and them rockets and them bombs done blew up 1,000 people at the same time. Took out a whole apartment building. Then you look to the right and 10,000 done fell over there. But ain't nothing happening to you. 1,000 to that direction and 10,000 to that direction, but nothing happens to you. That's the kind of protection I want. But you get to see the reward of the wicked. Oh, God is an I told you so God. He hold grudges, baby. You know how y'all say, oh, don't be holding no grudges. I don't know where y'all get that stuff from. I got a God that hold grudges. He fully intend on letting that vengeance come. But he say, vengeance is mine, say the Lord. And I'm going to pay it back to their face. And I'm going to set that table in front of the enemies of my people. They going to see the judgment that I bring on these people on their behalf. Oh, my God, as I told you so, God. I told you I was going to come in and beat y'all ass if y'all kept it up. I told you that. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Now we're going to go to Matthew. Enter ye in at the straight gate. We're at Matthew chapter 7 at verse 13. Enter you in at the straight gate. Y'all know I always talk about this. For wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. Like I say, that biggest religion is the widest gate and it's going to lead to destruction. The biggest religion is Christianity right now today. And that's going to be the number one leader to destruction. And many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leads unto life, and few there be that find it. Because most people ain't going to find the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They don't even know who that is. Then he say, beware of false prophets. And see, y'all love y'all pastors that's telling y'all lies. As long as you can make a Christmas tree and have some Valentine's cakes and all of that, and some Easter bunnies and everything, and get you new Easter suit and all that kind of stuff. Y'all love it. But they come to you in sheep's clothing, and inwardly they are raven and wolves. You shall know them by their fruits. Pay attention and quit acting like you don't. Quit telling lies to yourself. You know them by their fruits because you go out in the parking lot and y'all all talk about all of the devilment that they do. Y'all talk about the sisters that they've been messing with. Y'all talk about how the deacon doesn't mess with deacon so-and-so wife. He messing with the trustee wife. Y'all talk about how sister so-and-so is running around with brother so-and-so and they both married. Y'all know. Man, I remember when I was in the Baptist church back home in Chicago. Ooh, the pastor, he dead now. I ain't gonna mention no name. But that pastor, those of y'all that know me, y'all know. He would run around with the church secretary. As a matter of fact, I think she's still alive now. Yeah. He was stealing the money out of the church, fixing up that nice Lincoln that he had. Oh, he had Lincoln with gold on it and chrome. And oh, it was nice. And he had extra suspension on it because, most of them pastors is fat, especially the Baptist ones that's our color. And he ate plenty of chicken and plenty of sweet potato pie. Yeah. And we had all kind of good dinners all over the place. Yeah, we did. And I was right with him. And believe it or not, I was getting fat too. I was taking on the appearance of the fat Baptist preacher. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And getting all them pies and everything. Yeah. I remember them days. But I cut that out, went a different way. And everybody said I was crazy and I want to do the worship on the Sabbath day. And I don't want to do the holidays no more. And I want to cut out the pork and I want to cut out the shrimp and the crab. And I want to do things the way that the scriptures say. And they say, boy, you crazy. All that stuff got hung up on the cross with the Messiah. Ain't nobody showed it to me yet where it say that. Not one jot or tittle of the law will go away. That's what the Messiah said out of his own mouth. He did not come to get rid of the law nor the prophets. That's what he said out of his own mouth. Why y'all don't want to say that part? He didn't get rid of anything like that. The only thing the Messiah got rid of was us doing the sacrifices, and the sacrifices really was gone because the Romans took it all away from us. Told us they'd kill us. We was doing wrong. And to this day, they protecting them animals as if them animals is their actual babies. They protect the animals more than they protect the human. Truth be told. Think about it. But anyway, let's keep on here. If a man, we're at John chapter 15. Hold on a second. Yeah, we're at John chapter 15, verse 6. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth. Before I get to that, I want to talk about the people that did actually get out of suffering and seeing the destruction of stuff. And they were what you would call sort of raptured, but they were safe. Noah, when he went through the situation that he was in with the rain coming and the floods, him and his family were inside the boat while the rest of the people were outside, and they got to hear all of that calamity going on outside. Noah and his family were left behind, but the people outside were taken. And being taken, they were killed. Keep these things in mind. It happened with Noah. Then it happened again with Lot. When Lot was in Sodom and Gomorrah area, the angels came and told him, come on, and we got to get you up out of here because we can't do anything until you're gone. We've been given strict orders to tear all of this up, but we can't tear it up until we got to save you. And you dilly-dally. He was dilly-dallying. He was dragging his feet and all of that. But eventually he was taken out of there, raptured, so to speak, left behind, whereas everybody else in the whole counties of Sodom and Gomorrah were annihilated. And then because his wife desired to turn back and look, she was annihilated too. Because anybody that wanted to remain with the stuff of that place and miss and love the stuff of that place, they were taken by death. But if you followed God and his messengers at the time, you would be left behind in a place of safety. The left behind were safe. The taken were killed. Then you got Rahab, the one that they called the harlot. She was in Jericho, and Joshua and them sent over the spies, and they checked it out. And Rahab protected them in the house, and the soldiers was coming, and they said, "Where them niggas that we done seen some of them come over here?" And she said, "Oh, they gone." Yeah, they did come, but they gone. They done left out of there. She protected them, and they said, "Look here. Here's what we'll do, because you heard about us before." And she said, "Yeah, we done heard all about you. That's why them guards have been looking for you. If you don't tell these people our business, we will make sure to protect you and anybody that's under your jurisdiction at the time. But we're going to need you to put a rope or string in the window so we can recognize who you is." And it's going to be no different than when the children of Israel was in Egypt under slavery. And God said, "I'm going to send over the angel of death, the reaper. And he coming through. And the only way that he not going to tear up your house and do things to you that he's doing to everybody else that doesn't have this mark is you're going to have to put this stuff on your doorpost. Now, if you got that stuff on there and stay your ass in the house, you good. But if you don't have that mark on your house, he coming in there. And if he catch you out on the street, even though you a Hebrew, that's your ass. You must be in the shelter that has the mark. Now, in the future, you have to have the mark of God and not the mark of Satan, not the mark of the beast. You need God's mark. We're going to get to that, though. It's all going to be in these scriptures that I'm reading to you tonight. And then the next thing it says here in John 15, verse 6, if a man, well, let me finish this. We talked about Rahab, and then we also we're going to talk about Daniel for a minute. Remember, Daniel got put into the lion's den, and he had to go through tribulation, but he was saved from those lions. He was saved from them. If you look in the book of Jubilees, and I think the book of Jasher, it will explain to you that the angel came down there and shut the lion's mouth. That's how that happened. So once again, the apocryphal books will fill in the stuff that you don't know. But Daniel had to go through the tribulation. He was not taken out miraculously in no kind of rapture where he didn't have to see the suffering or hear the suffering or be tempted by anything or anything like that. He had to go through it. The difference is that God goes through it with you. And speaking of that, then you got Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego being put in a fire. Now they set them on fire, but the Messiah was sent. The angel was sent to protect them in the midst of the fire. They still had to go through the tribulation. But what did we just get done reading in Psalm 91? 1,000 on the right, on the left, and 10,000 on the right, but it won't come on you. God will protect you if you with him. Same thing happened with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They literally put them in the fire, but the fire couldn't do nothing with them because God sent an angel to protect them while they was up in the fire. And then I guess it was what was it, Nebuchadnezzar or whoever it was, Belshazzar, called them up out of there and said, "Come on out." And they were able to walk right out of the fire. And he said, "Hey, the ones that started this, put them up in there and see what it do." And it burnt them to a crisp. Yep. So you will go through the tribulation. You will go through the trials. But if you're left behind, God will send the angels to go through it with you. So you're protected while it goes on. But the ones that are taken away to be burned in the fire and killed. And then after they're killed, they will be resurrected and put into the eternal fire, and they will burn forever for disrespecting God and disrespecting you and disrespecting God's law. That's the truth of the matter. Read the scriptures for yourself. Ask God to tell you as I'm telling you the truth on this. By no means am I a perfect man. I got so many flaws, it don't make no sense. But I'm not going to lie about this word. That's what I'm not going to do. So then let's go to the next one here. If a man abide in me, if a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch. This is the Messiah talking. And is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they be burned. The Messiah keeps bringing this stuff up. There's going to come a time where everybody's going to be gathered up. You're going to have the wheat on one side and the chaff on another, and that chaff is going in that fire. The ones that are taken are going in that fire, but the ones that are left behind are the wheat. The wheat is left behind. The chaff is taken. The sticks that are withered, the branches that are withered are gathered and burned. They are taken to be burned. So he going to tell the ones that is going to be left behind, scoot over here and just wait a minute. I got you covered. But then he's going to go over to these other ones and say, now, come here. And he going to grab them up and take them, and he going to put them into the fire. The ones that are taken are in trouble. The ones that are left behind are not. If you abide in me and my words abide in you, you shall ask what you will, and it shall be done unto you. But you have to abide in him and abide in his words. Herein is my Father glorified. That's how my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit. So shall you be my disciples. How will you be a disciples? If you bear this fruit. Well, how are you going to do that? You're going to abide in me and abide in my words, going to abide in you. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Continue in my love. If you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love. How are you going to show your love? Keeping his commandments. You shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. So the Messiah says, keep the commandments I give you, because they're the commandments that come from my daddy. So if you love me, you're going to keep these commandments, because I keep them commandments too. Ain't no stuff going away nowhere. All this putting it up on the cross stuff, I come up off the cross. Remember, they buried me and they stabbed me and all of that, and the water came out and the blood came out. And, they had wanted to break bones and all that, but it wasn't allowed. I was already gone. They buried me, put me in a tomb for 3 days, sealed it, and put guards out front to make sure I didn't escape. And then when the women came to check on it, I was gone. And the guards wasn't even there. They were scared because my 2 angel brothers showed up, and they were sitting there, and they got scared. They saw them 9-foot angels stand out there, and they scared them half to death, and them guards got up out of there and went AWOL, and ain't nobody seen them since. And then the Messiah got up, took his garments, his funeral garments that he had, folded them up, because he's a neat character. He ain't messy and sloppy. And he folded them up and put them down at the bed. He said, I'm going to take this here off. I don't need this no more, but I will so appreciate how y'all did me. So I'm going to fold it up real nice for you and put it right here. Keep it nice and tidy like an Airbnb. And then I'm going to check out. That's what he did. So when the Mary and the other Mary came, that Mary and Martha came, they saw that he was gone already, and then cleaned the place up and then left, then checked out of the room. And the angels told them what happened. And then eventually he came and visited them. But that same law that he did before he died was the same law that he did again when he came back. Nothing died. He conquered death. Get over the death part, because he was killed, but God resurrected him like he's going to resurrect you. Now, some of y'all going to be resurrected to be put back into a fire, and some of y'all going to be resurrected to be brought into eternal life. Now, you just got to figure out which one you want. That's what you got to do. You got to figure out which route do you want to go, because the choice is yours. You have free will to make that decision. So don't be crying to God about, oh, he puts you in hell and burns you in fire and all that. You don't have to go there. This test is not difficult. They giving away scriptures for free. This is one book that you don't have to purchase if you don't want to. And these days, it's standard on phones and all of that. So you simply have no excuse. And you don't even have to read it. You can get on there, and it's got an app. It'll read it for you. But if you don't think you need it, then go to hell and be there forever. These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. The only way to have full joy is to have your name written in the book, and to be under the safety of the Messiah and his Father. That's the only way to have true joy. Now let's go to the next thing. John chapter 16, verse 1. Oh, wait a minute. John 15. That's where we need to go. Was I just there? John 15, verse 6 through 10. Keeping my commandments. Yep. Love one another. What am I missing? Oh, let's go down to verse 18. If the world hate you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. Now, this is John 15, verse 18. You're going to be hated. You're not going to be raptured away and not have no problems. You're going to be still sticking around, and the world is going to hate you. That's what's going to happen. If you were of the world would love his own. But see, you're not, just like he wasn't. And that's what goes on with us as a people. We're not of the white people's world. We're of a whole different kind of thing. And that's why they despise us. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If you have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. The ones that are going by Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's God. But if they persecuted the Messiah, what make you think they're not going to persecute you? And you talking about y'all going to be raptured up out of here? Y'all telling people these lies that they are going to be rescued and raptured, and they're not going to be. They're not going to be rescued and raptured. They're going to be raptured all right, but it ain't going to be a rescue. It's going to be killing. It's going to be the beginnings of the lake of fire is what it's going to be. It's going to be the beginning of torments is what it's going to be. All of y'all that think y'all getting raptured, you're going to hell. I'm going to make it real simple for y'all. If you think you're getting raptured, you are definitely have your ticket for hell. The ones that are going to be left behind are the ones that are going to be saved. The ones that think they're leaving, that are getting a ticket to go away, you're a dead man walking. That's what you are. Be prepared to be, what's that show that they got with the zombies? It's called The Walking Dead. That would be you. That's you. You going to be the walking dead because you're going to eternally suffer in the lake of fire. And when you're taken, raptured, as you say, that's going to be your first dip into the pool. That's the first dip. Because after you're killed, then you're going to be resurrected again to be judged and be put into the lake of fire with Lucifer, with the devil and all of his angels for eternity. There's two deaths. There are two resurrections and there's two deaths. Two of them. Better read that book. It's free. Get it on Amazon.com, I guess, or what did you call it? Audible. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. They're going to do this stuff to you because they don't know the one that sent them. They killed the Messiah because they didn't know God the Father. That's why they had no problem doing it. That's why. You think these people that do these things don't? When Paul was called Saul, he was killing the saints, thinking that he was doing a service to God. He thought he was right, but he was actually wrong. Remember what I said in the very beginning from the book of James. You got the ones doing evil for good and good for evil. They flip and flop. They telling lies. They think that they're doing a service when they're not. Now let's go to John chapter 16. Now here, they are going to put you out of the synagogue. Let's go down to verse 1. These things have I spoken unto you, that you should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogue. I don't want you to be offended. I don't want you to be shocked. They're going to kick you out the church. The people that's going to do these things to you in the tribulation time are going to be people that swear that they have faith. They're going to be pastors and priests. They're going to be imams at the mosque. And they're going to kick you out. And you're going to be surprised, but the Messiah is telling you, don't be surprised when they put you out. The time cometh that whosoever kill you will think that he doeth God's service. Just like Saul thought. He thought he was doing the right thing when he was killing the people. And these things will they do unto you, because they have not known the Father nor me. They don't know me and they don't know Daddy. That's why they're going to do these damnable things. Now let's go to Matthew chapter 13, verse 24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. Now the enemy came and did that and put the tares up in there. So the Messiah's got a group of people minding their business, like the people in Rosewood. Then the enemy come and puts tares in there, like the white folks that came and burned Rosewood down. No different than when we had the Black Wall Street out there in Oklahoma, and we was minding our business, and the white folks came and burned the whole place down and killed us. It's the same thing. This stuff keep happening over and over and over again. While the man slept, the enemy came and did this. Yeah, you got enemies out there, baby. But when the blade was sprung up, so when the wheat finally began to grow and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the tares was growing up with the wheat together. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, did thou not sow good seed in the field? What is all of this? Because from whence then has it tares? Where'd that come from? Did you mix it? And what did he say? He said unto them, an enemy has done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? Shall we go and try to dig in between and take the tares out? Now that, this is a good idea. What did he say? But he said, no. Lest you, while you gather the tares, you root up also the wheat with them. I care so much for the wheat. I don't want you to damage them at all. Just leave them there amongst the tares, and then we'll be able to gather them together. But they're going to go through this tribulation and this growing pains together. But best believe the time will come. The time will come where we won't mess it up. Let both grow together until the harvest. Now, when the harvest comes, and in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, just like he said to the angel of death in Egypt, go out there and go get them. But the ones that got the mark, leave them. But the ones that don't, have your way. Yep. Gather ye together first the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. So he said, the first thing I want you to do, angel of death, is go down there and get the tares first. Those ones that keep talking about they finna be raptured first, they finna go away before anything else go down. The first group, go get them. Bind them up. I want you to take them, tie them up. And then I want you to dump them in the fire. And this is going to be the first fire. Then we're going to resurrect them later, and we're going to put them in the second one. And the second one's going to be eternal. That's how that's going to work. That's your rapture for you. Y'all better watch what you're talking about. but gather the wheat into my barn. Now, what's his barn going to be in the kingdom to come? Well, that barn's going to be the holy city that's going to come down. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And that kingdom going to come down. We're going to read it. And he's going to be amongst us. Yeah. So now we're going to go to Matthew. No, now we're going to Revelation 7. Now we're almost finished. We're going to Revelation chapter 7. Now we're going to get to the good stuff now. Y'all get ready to hit us here. And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east. I told you them flying niggas gonna be coming from the east. Y'all gonna be shocked because them angels gonna come down looking like us. Y'all gonna want to racial profile them and pull them over and check the license plate and ID. It ain't gonna work that day though. Having the seal of the living God. And he cried with now see this, and I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. This same thing happened in Ezekiel, I think it's Ezekiel chapter 9, when he said that he was going to, it's either Ezekiel 9 or Ezekiel 7, send these guys over there, but seal up the ones that's good. But the ones that don't got a seal, go there and kill them and start first at the church. The first place that all of this destruction is going to happen is at the church house, because he is tired of people playing church, and he going to kill you. He going to kill you, and the church is going to be the first place he's going. He going to go to the club last. The church going to get it first. The mosque, the synagogue, the temple, the lodge. Oh, yeah. Y'all getting it first. Because y'all the ones keep talking about y'all are holy and carrying the name and doing right. That's going to be the first place to get cleaned out. Saying, hurt not the sea, until we got the sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and they that were sealed were 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Now, this 144,000 is a special bunch, and it is only of the tribes of Israel. Those would be niggas. So them niggas from the 12 tribes, and it's going to be 12,000 out of each tribe. They are going to be sealed. But these are a special group. This particular group, and I know I'm not in that group. Why do I know? Because this group is all people that were men that knew no woman. So it's all male. And they didn't have sex with anybody. Now, I got a couple of kids, so I know it's not me. But does that mean I won't be chosen to be in the kingdom? No, it doesn't mean that. There are people that have children. There are people that have families and marriages and divorces and all of that. That will be part of the kingdom. But this special group of 144,000, they're like the Messiah special forces. You know, in the military right now, you have the group that's called a lot of people want to say the Navy SEALs first. I don't want to say the Navy SEALs first. You know who I want to say first? The Rangers. The Army Rangers is who I want to say first. Yeah, and I was in the Army, so I guess that's one reason I feel kind of one-sided about it. But I tell you what, when Navy SEALs get in trouble, who they send in there to go get them? Army Rangers. That's what they send to go get the SEAL. So if you so tough, why they don't send some more SEALs in there? Whatever. They send them Army Rangers in there, baby. That's who they send in there. It is what it is. But of course, There's special groups in all branches of service. Air Force has special group. Uh, Marines have special group. Army have special group, and there's far more groups than just the Rangers. And then you've got the berets and the SEALs, and the Navy has a bunch more groups besides just the SEALs. There's a lot of special forces groups. The Messiah Special Forces group is these 144,000 niggas. That's virgins. That's all male. See, God don't do what we do. We allow the women to be in the military and to fight and be in the infantry and all of that. He don't allow that. In Israel back in the day, the women were not allowed to be in the military. Now, that military over there in Israel of today, where you got Israelis, see, we were called Israelites. These people today are called Israeli. We were called Hebrew Israelites, and we were this color, children of the slaves. They are Israelites and Zionists and all that kind of thing, and also known AKA Jews. We're not Jews, we're Hebrew. Totally different situation. They actually do allow women to be in their military. That's another reason it's not the same thing. So they are a different thing. But in this group of special forces, it's only male niggas from back in the day that are virgins, that are brought in from the 12 tribes of Israel. And wherever the Messiah go, they go. Oh, it's gonna be something going on in that day. Y'all remember the movie that Will Smith did with it was called Independence Day. Y'all need to look at that movie. Go look at that movie. It's a good one. Independence Day is a good one to watch. And do y'all remember the movie? I think it was called Z Nation. No, it was called World War Z. Well, let me look it up and make sure that's what it was. Let me make sure. Hold on a second. Of course, the phone want to do everything slow while I'm trying to get on it. That's what the devil do. Yep, World War Z. That's the one. I want y'all to watch Independence Day and watch World War Z, because you'll get to see in World War Z the way that those zombies were rushing and coming and going through it, and you just couldn't stop them. That's how these 144,000 niggas going to be in that day. You're not going to be able to do nothing with them. They're going to be the soldiers that can't be stopped. You won't be able to touch them. You'll shoot at them and you won't be able to do anything with them. And the way that in Independence Day, the way that the ships came down, that's the way that the kingdom gonna come down. And that's the way that Messiah gonna come down. And you ain't gonna be able to do nothing with it. You ain't gonna be able to do nothing with it. And then I also want you to watch one more movie. The movie War of the Worlds, the latest one. What was that? Let's see. I think it had Tom Cruise in it. Yep. War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise was the star. I want you to watch that, because the way that them creatures were coming in and shooting and zapping stuff, that's the way the Messiah is going to come in and burning people up. And there's nothing that we will be able to do about it. Nothing. Them angels are going to come in here with such superior technology. And yes, the people are going to try to fight them, because that's what they do. And we're going to read that here. They're going to try to fight them. It ain't going to work, but that's what they're going to try to do. So you got 12,000 from all of these tribes. After this, I beheld, I'm at verse 9 now. After this, I beheld, and lo, a great multitude. Now I'll be in the multitude, which no man could number, of all nations And you know what's funny about them 144,000? Jehovah Witnesses think they're going to be the 144,000. They ain't read the scriptures. They so stupid and they so busy being hooked up on that white dude that started them. They done lost their damn mind. They done lost their mind. Now, I got a lot of Jehovah Witnesses as friends, but y'all done lost your damn mind. That 144,000 is, first of all, it's all niggas. That's number one. So that would exclude all of the white Jehovah Witnesses in all of the kingdom halls. All of them. Second of all, this the virgins only. And there's a male version. So that exclude all the women. Male virgins. So that exclude all of the Jehovah Witnesses that's married and got children. All of y'all that's married and got kids, they ain't talking about y'all. So it's not y'all. These are the people that have been begging God for vengeance for being killed because they were who they were. And so many of our people were killed just because we was niggas, just because we was slaves, just because we didn't want to eat the pork. Y'all was mad with us about all of this stuff that we end up having to get a federal law that say that our religious rights are protected. We had to get a law to protect us. And half the times y'all don't want to follow the law. But after this, I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, in all nations, and kindreds, and people, and tongues. So that means it's all kindreds, all nations, all tongues, all people. That would include white people. So now you got a group that, yes, there's going to be some Irish. Yes, there's going to be some French. There's going to be some German. Yeah, they coming too. Yeah, they coming to the kingdom. It's not just going to be us. Now, we going to be the main attraction, but we not going to be alone. All these other folk is coming too. The only difference is we get to go into the holy city that has the 12 tribes name on it, and they don't. That's the only difference. I didn't write the book, but and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands, and cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our God, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. So salvation to God and to the Messiah. The Messiah is the Lamb. And all the angels stood round about the throne and about the elders and the four beasts, and fell before the throne on their faces and worshiped God. Did they worship the Messiah? No, it says that they worshiped God. Are you worshiping God, or are you worshiping the Messiah? Are you worshiping the one that they call Jesus, or are you worshiping God like it says? Are you doing what the scriptures say here, or are you doing something else and turning the Messiah, turning the one you call Jesus into an idol? Who are you supposed to worship? They worshiped God, the Father, saying, Amen, blessing and glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honor and power and might be unto our God forever. Does it all be to Jesus? No. Does it all be to the Son? No. Who is it to? To our God forever and ever. That's what it say. And one of the elders answered, saying unto me, What are these which are arrayed in white robes, and whence came they? Where'd they come from? And I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said to me, These are they which came out of great tribulation, and have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Wait 1 minute. These are the ones that came out of great tribulation. That means those are the ones that was left behind. The left behind got left to go through all of the running through the streets. The left behind got left to go through the situation with Psalm 91, with the 1,000 over here dying and the 10,000 over here dying, and they left behind. These are the ones, the left behind. They the ones that came through the tribulation. Yeah. Therefore are they before the throne of God, and serve him day and night in his temple. And he that sitteth on the throne shall dwell among them. What? What you say? Do you see this? The ones that were left behind will be rewarded, and the Messiah will come and dwell among them. The one that came down there and took them other ones and killed them, and put the wheat in the barn, but the chaff tied them up and put them in the fire. But the wheat got put in the barn. Here's the barn. The temple is the barn. The new temple, the new Jerusalem is the barn. The saved are going to the barn, but before they get to the barn, they're the ones that were left behind and being under his protection and being under his eagle's wings and being covered with the feathers. That's them. The left behind are the saved. Y'all better get it right and start paying attention. This foolishness about some people being raptured out of here and they ain't gonna see no trouble is a lie. Those ones that call themselves gonna be raptured out are going straight to the fire. Straight there. First, you're gonna be tied up and bound up. Oh, you're gonna be shook up and scared a little bit first. Then you going into the fire, baby. Now, we're going to get into 2nd Esdra, and it's going to be even more clear. And then we're going to be done. Go to 2nd Esdra, verse 25. This is the meaning of the vision, whereas thou sawest a man coming up out of the midst of the sea. The same is he whom God the highest has kept a season, which, you know, and he's titled God the highest here. Now, in the other scriptures, he'll say the most high. So it's the same thing, but it's God the Father, not the Son. Don't get it twisted. Which by his own self shall deliver his creature, and he shall order them that are left behind. What? The same is he whom God the highest, the most high, has kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature, his creation, and he shall order them that are left behind. Is clear. Verse 26 out of 2nd Esdra. He's going to order the ones that are left behind. So what do you think is going to happen to the ones that are taken? What do you think will happen to the ones that are raptured, aka taken? Let's see. And whereas thou sawest that out of his mouth came as a blast of wind and fire and storm, and that he held neither sword nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him. This is the interpretation. That's how come I want y'all to watch War of the Worlds, because the armies are going to be shooting at them, but he's just going to tear them up. And it's going to be so simple and easy that none of the weapons are going to work. This is the interpretation. Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth. He will deliver the people that are on the earth, the ones that are left behind, not the ones that are taken. And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. Everybody is going to be freaked out when they see him. That's why I want y'all to watch the movies, because when them aliens in these movies come down, the people are freaked out. They don't get it. They're like, wow, the aliens exist. And with power like that, what are we going to be able to do with them? Nothing. Because actually, those aliens are the angels. And when they come down, you ain't going to be able to do nothing with them. And one shall undertake to fight against another. See, they're going to try to fight one city against another, one place against another, one people against another. It's going to be world wars, and one realm against another. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen, which I showed thee before. And then shall my son be declared. Yep, my son, the Messiah, shall be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. I told you, when that flying nigga come up out of the east, ascending and descending, you're gonna be in trouble. You're gonna be in trouble. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have won against. Oh, they're gonna stop. Whatever they was doing, they're gonna stop, because they're gonna hear that deep voice nigga flying from the east, and it's gonna catch them completely by surprise. And they're gonna say, I hear somebody calling from the sky out of the east. Is this the stuff that we've heard about? And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. So they're going to quit fighting each other, and they're going to join forces with each other and make a league with each other to try to fight him. Just like in the movie Independence, all the Independence Day, all the armies came together. War of the Worlds, all the armies came together. World War Z, all the armies came together to combat this. Ain't nothing gonna be done. Ain't nothing gonna be done. Because this is gonna be holy stuff from the Most High. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna be no Hollywood movie. But he shall stand upon the top of Mount Zion. He gonna go right back there to that same mountain where he ascended from before, that place where they hung him up and killed him on Golgotha. Oh yeah. Oh, he gonna go right back to that same spot. And then they all gonna know this is it. This is that thing we've been told about. And Zion shall come and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. The hill graven without hands, because he carved himself out. I didn't read all of that, but he carved himself out a piece out of the mountain. He had the city made without hands, and it's coming down from the sky. And that's the holy temple, the New Jerusalem coming, that men didn't build that. And it's going to be so big and so vast. And that's going to be the place where we're going to stay. The children of the slaves are going to be able to go in there to worship God at the temple and go through them 12 gates with the names of the children of Israel on it. Oh, we going to have our day, baby. But it ain't going to be like it was before. We ain't going to have all of these different churches on the corner and all that. It's going to be one, only one church, like he meant to have it back in the day. There was only one temple, one tabernacle, only one. All of this making extra was stuff that we did in our foolishness and idolatry. And this, my son, shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations. So all of their little weapons, their little missiles and all that, his son is going to rebuke it. Now, who's the son? The Messiah. That's the son. He going to come and he going to tear up all of this stuff, which for their wicked life are falling into the tempest. He going to just throw them away. They're going to go like into a black hole or something, or into the water. And shall lay before them their evil thoughts. And he going to show them everything on their mind and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented. Yeah, because you've been be raptured now, and you finna be tormented, and it's going to be in your head what it's finna be, which are like unto a flame. And he shall destroy them without labor by the law, which is like unto me. It ain't going to be hard for him to do it at all. Mm-mm. And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might keep there their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. So they escaped at that time and went over there to try to keep the law, because they finally had learned their lesson. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river, for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. There was a long journey for them. And the same region is called Azareth. And that's a place that we're still looking for to this day and haven't been able to locate exactly where it is on the earth right now. Then dwelt they there until the latter time. And now when they shall begin to come, the highest shall stay the springs of the stream again, and that they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude with peace. But those that be left behind of thy people are they that are found within my borders. The ones that are left behind are found within the borders that he already got. We ain't talking about that place that they ran off to, and then he got to make a path for them to come across the water and all of that. Kind of like when he did the Red Sea with Moses and them. But the rest of them that were left behind were within the borders, were within the confines. And these are the ones that he's keeping. Now, when he destroyeth the multitude of the nations that are gathered together, he shall defend his people that remain. So these ones that are left behind, he gonna defend them. The left behind are getting defended. Do you see this? The left behind are the blessed group. The taken are ass out, as you call it. What to say in the military, shit out of luck. Now, and then shall he show them great wonders. Then said I, O Lord, that bearest rule, show me this. Wherefore have I seen the man coming up from the midst of the sea? He's still wondering about this. And he said unto me, like, as thou canst neither seek out nor know the things that are in the deep of the sea, even so can no man upon earth see my son or those that be with him, but in the day, but in the daytime. So in that day, they'll be able to see him. But he coming up out of the sea, and we can't even get to the bottom of the water right now. To this day, we can't go down there. And you know how a lot of these people say these UFOs has been coming out of the water, coming out of the ocean and all of that, and diving back in it. And now we got these movies, Aquaman and all of that. Yeah, they down there. And we can't get down there. But he gonna come up. He gonna come up. But he ain't gonna come up like Aquaman. He gonna come up more like Namor and be ready to tear up some stuff. That's what he gonna do. But the Namor that's coming ain't gonna be like the Hispanic dude. He gonna be more like a nigga. And he gonna come up and he gonna teach some lessons. Oh, we gonna get some get back. Oh yeah, baby. Yeah, we gonna get it. This is the interpretation of the dream which thou sawest, and whereby thou only are here lightened. For thou hast forsaken thine own way, and applied thy diligence unto my law, and sought it. So the reason that this was shown to him, to Ezra, is because he dedicated himself to learning God's law and studying his word. Now, how did I get to it? Well, I got to it because I've studied God's law too, and I've been dedicated to his word. I'm certainly not as dedicated as I need to be, and I'm not nearly dedicated as Ezra is. But just the mere fact that I dabbled in it If you just dabble in God's word and ask him to show you in the dreams and to show you in your mind what he really is saying in his scriptures, and you tell him that, Father, I make a covenant with you. I repent. Now, a lot of the times y'all see me on here and I just do the lesson and I don't do no prayer or nothing like that. But today I'm gonna do a prayer with you. Remember how the Messiah was asked, how do we pray? I'm gonna tell y'all how to pray so y'all can get this knowledge. Ask God. Tell God in your prayer tonight. Go in your room or wherever it is that you go and bow down by yourself. First, do it by yourself. If you got a wife, don't do it with your wife yet. Do it by yourself first and ask God to forgive you of your sins and ask God to take you into his way and his will and to make a covenant with you and tell him, Father, I beg your forgiveness. I have sinned against you and against man. I have not done your word. I have disobeyed your commandments. I have disobeyed your statutes. I have disobeyed your judgments, and I'm sorry. And I make a covenant with you today to go the right way. Please, God, show me your will and your way and your word and give me the understanding. Come to me in the dreams and fix my mind and fix my eyes so I can see your word in this reality. Fix my ears so I can begin to hear what's right and what's wrong and discern between the two. I need discernment, God, to discern between the two. I don't want to be overtaken with a showboat no more, because a lot of the churches are just a show. They got the beautiful choir. God, put the sound of the choir out of my ears. And you said that you was tired of the food of our salvation. Our offerings was flared up in your nostrils and you were sick of it. And you were tired of our singing. You said that in the book of Isaiah, that you was tired of it. Our feasts and everything was you were sick of it. Help me to not be involved in all of that and to straighten me out and let me follow your rules for the diet so this temple of mine can be fit for you to come and be with me and let your spirit enter into me and clean me out. We so busy down here trying to clean ourselves out with these diuretics and all of this stuff. Clean me out with your Holy Spirit, Father, and teach me your word and your will and help me and take me by force, God, by the back of my shirt and take me to your temple. Take me, Father, by force and don't let me go. That's the prayer that you need to have. And he will open up these scriptures to you. And when you read them, just start at number 1. Go to Genesis and start at number 1. Don't even go to the Apocrypha yet. First, read the whole King James Bible and just get it into you one time. Then go back and read it one more time. It took me 3 times before I started to see something. I started to change. The 3rd time, I said, you know what? I know something here. I know something here. If these ain't niggas, then I don't know what is. The first time I read the Bible completely, I was impressed and amazed. Now, I'm going to tell you why I was impressed. I was impressed by the stories in it that had the suspense, the action, the sexual content, the war, the fighting. I saw that it had the same stuff that's in a Hollywood script. It was like a movie. And I was impressed that I got through it. And I got through it so fast. I think when I first read it through, if I'm correct, it took me about 3 weeks, which is really not a long time. But I read the book every day. I read it every day, and it didn't take long at all. And then the second time I read it, I say, wait a minute, I'm seeing stuff here that's different than I read it the first time. And there's something to all of this stuff with him wanting us to go and kill all of the women, children, and animals in these nations and all that. I started to pay more attention to his throwing that out, and the fact that he was so strict on his law, and that the penalties was death and all this kind of stuff. And then I noticed the Sabbath day and everything, and that he called his stuff holy days and not holidays. I said, wait a minute. I started to notice that the second time. By the time I got to the third reading, I took way more than 3 weeks. I took maybe 3 months on the last read. You know why? Because I kept reading it slower and reading books over multiple times, because what I was seeing was these children of Israel is niggas, meaning children of the slaves, meaning my people. And I realized that the history that we've been looking for all of this time is this book, is brown-skinned people's history. And it's not them European people over there that's calling themselves Jews. This ain't them. It's clear. Now, after that, I got into the apocryphal books. But you realize how long it took me to get to the apocryphal books? It took some years for me to get to it. And by the time I got to it and started reading the book of Adam and Eve, and the book of Jasher, and the book of Jubilees, oh, Jubilees was so beautiful. The beginning of Jubilees, oh, what a knockout. What a knockout, because it talks about things in heaven. Jubilees tells you about stuff going on in heaven. It don't just talk about, the rest of the Bible talk about stuff going on earth. Jubilees, in the beginning, it talks about heaven. Oh my goodness. And then I read Jasher, and it filled in all of the blanks. And then the other Ezra's books, Esdras. Blessed Esdra was just as impressive as Brother Enoch. And you read the book of Enoch, it knocked your socks off. Listening to Enoch. Just beyond belief, the books. Beyond belief. And then you get the wisdom of Solomon and find all these other books that Solomon did. It just shows you so many things. And in the wisdom of Solomon, it shows you what's going to happen in the last days, which is what is happening right now in the present day. People are waking up and seeing that our people are the children in these scriptures. You call it the Bible, I call it the scriptures. I don't want to use none of the terms that these white folks use. I want to use the original terms. Scriptures is what they was. And so they have in there that our people, in the wisdom of Solomon, that the children of the slave masters are going to admit in time that our people are the children of the book. And they're doing that right now on YouTube. They're doing it in this day. This is how you know we almost to the end of days. It's almost over. It's almost time to look up to the east and see that flying nigga coming up out of there. It's almost time. It's almost time to go down to the lakefront and see him coming up out that water. Yeah, it's almost time. It's almost time. But I thank y'all for listening. And we're just at 2 hours. And I hope y'all enjoyed yourself. Pastor Xavier, God's Grace and Covenant, Jacksonville, Florida. I will see y'all next time. Freely it was given. Freely I give it to you. Bless you.